Yeah, thank you.
Hello everyone. So we will start soon, like a few minutes, 3 minutes. And then please prepare the true words spoken by Buddha. We will recite as usual. So please wait for a while with peace of mind. Thank you.
Hello, I'm sir.
Your reserved seat.
Thank you very much.
Ichiko. Alright, now become the 3 sharp. And then a little bit hot. If you want to open the door over there or here, we can open that. Anyway, to start with, as usual, we will recite true words spoken by Buddha out loud to hear. If you don't have, I just pick up the sudra there. Okay? Anyway, let's start. The true words spoken by Buddha, Ryuho Okama. There used to be the light in the great universe. The light is the energy of Buddha. People can live by this energy, and the Buddha's energy has made human history. It will be supplied eternally. This eternal light comes from heaven, and prevails on earth. This is the light of heaven. Through the prism of Buddha, there appear the 7 colors of rainbow, arching over in the sky. Here you can see Buddha's mercy. Yellow is the color of teaching. White is the color of saving. Red is the color of justice. Purple is the color of obedience. Blue is the color of thinking. Green is the color of harmony. Silver is the color of progress. These 7 colors help each other, and there appears Buddhaland. Buddhaland is shining brightly because of gathering of bodhisattvas. This is the land of love or the land of mercy. This is the land of wisdom or the land of teaching. Especially, this is the land of souls rest in peace. Real souls are the children of Buddha. The children of Buddha became real human beings. Real human beings have spirituality. The spirits are immortal powers. The spirits are immortal forces. The spirits are real entities. The physical bodies are the shadows of the spirits. It means you are the boat sailing down the great river. The great river is a symbol of the course of lives. Each of you sails down as a small boat, so you need a boatman. If it is not for your own boatman, you surely go aground. This boatman really means your mind. If your mind makes a mistake, the boat breaks into pieces by a large rock, and you also need a bamboo pole. This pole is the meaning of the true world. When you go down a rapid stream, you need to pump in the stream. Then you can change your course. The true words mean the teaching of Buddha. Buddha enlightened and spoke the true words, and the Buddha's teaching became a gold mine. These gold mines suggest various teachings. These are another expression of Buddha's truth. It brightens up your days, or to put it another way, the fruits of Buddha's mercy. All of you, now here, listen to me. Never lose your way, now and forever. The guiding hand has already waved. Please follow this white hand and go straightly on and on. Your lives are not limited to this world only. They have 3 aspects: the past, the present, the future. Your past have already gone by. Yet still your mistakes will be kept in your minds. That is the reason why you should understand other people, and you yourself should reflect on what you have done. You and others are not different. On the contrary, both the children of Buddha and the brothers and sisters. Now then, love each other. Let us bring up each other. And it's time to forgive each other. This is eternal law, which penetrates the present and the future. Yes, indeed, the light of the dark night of this world is hell. It is also the same in another world. Since we came down to this world, the sun of the truth is scheduled to rise. Now we are watching rising sun. It will shed light to the future, to invite some people to Buddhaland. Now here I command, there shall not be conflict in this world. There shall not be distrust in this world. There shall not be crime in this world. There shall not be evil spirits in this world. There shall not be the devil in the next world. Only the ideal world, utopia, shall be realized. All of the people love each other, live harmoniously, believe in one another. That world is utopia. All of us could be the light of bodhisattvas, believing that the light has reality, believing that love has reality, believing that the truth has reality. These are the facts that should be conveyed. We, the light of bodhisattvas, get together, work together, to keep right mind and live in tune with Buddha's words. Here we bow to do so. Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming today. Maybe some people might come later, but anyway, we have to start with. But anyway, so today we are talking about warning against the imminent world war. maybe that scared you, or you feel something fear inside, because now, as you know, the war between Russia and Ukraine has happened already, and also they have many conflicts, and then not only that, many sources of the war you can see in this war, conflicts. I mean, between the religion or between like a dictatorship country and other countries, like such and such. And then this being Yaidron has a very, very profound insight. So he can express what will happen. That is a prediction. As you know, this is like a apocalypse written in Old Testament. And then just listen to it, please. But before listening to the lecture itself, we will dedicate our sincere gratitude to the Lord.
過去7億年、70億年以上遡って見ることもできるし、未来を見ることもできる。そういう自由自在に宇宙空間と時空間の中を探索することができる能力を持っています。
Thank you very much. So, then today's one is against the imminent world war. Message from the space being Yaidron. That is the urgent message from the people from outer space. And then, but please listen carefully and seriously. Because today I'd like you to think of that. That's why I just gave you this blank paper. With listening, take memo, okay? And because the story, a statement made by him, sometimes suddenly change the word and statement and start talking about another theme, but go back to the original theme like that. And then just write down point he said. Today, he raised up almost those 6 points, but other points he pointed out, but mainly those 6 points. Okay. So one is the reason I came here today. And on China's invasion of Taiwan, on Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and the problems of the mass media, possibility of using nuclear weapons, and possibility of the world war. What will happen that you can point out. Okay. So and then after watching the master this share message, I will show you today not separated but all of them, most of all of them. I reduced some points, but most of all of them. And then it becomes 40 minutes. Originally, it takes more than 1 hour, but it takes only, I will show you the 40 minutes. And then after watching the spiritual message, I will give it to you, okay? Handout. So don't worry. And then answers those 6 points I already wrote down. All right. And then the most important thing we need to understand to listen these messages here. Just 1 point. So now the situation. This was from Master Ryuho Okawa and Yaidron. Okay, was from Master Ryuho Okawa and Yaidron both. And then Biden and Zelensky pushed Russia into the corner. You understand, right? Mm-hmm. And then they want to destroy Russia and Trump. Russia was trapped by them to attack Ukraine. So Russia is surrounded by NATO, US, Japan, and Australia. Then what's next? Please listen carefully. Messages from Space Being Yaidron. All right. So, but as you know, and then we are in the NATO, one of NATO countries. Then mass media always say the Putin is evil and Zelensky is a great hero, something like that. Is it true or not? The behind the scene, what happened? So today he revealed also that kind of thing. But anyway, this is the center point. But not only that, he will talk about China and other countries, what they will do. So this is a prediction for humankind. Okay, let's listen to this message. That will take 40, maybe 45 minutes. Oops.
Yaidron です。大阪市と言います。
ありがとうございます。
4月の終わりになりましたね。はい。世界が2つに分れていますね。はい。リバティたちがマガジンしており、あとは日本は欧米の方に足並みを揃えて、自衛隊はちょっと自衛隊機を送ることになって、ますますロシア大使館は全てロシアが悪いと言って、行動が始まっているようですね。
This is a very important point. The world is divided in two. Okay, please note that and remember it. And then that was recorded on 28th of April. Okay, world is divided in two.
岸田氏は速やかに敵対国になられたので、深い考えもなく、いつの間にか軍事的に敵対国になられて、軍事予算も組み、自衛隊機を送り、臨場して変えようとしているのかもしれませんけどね。今日来た理由はですね、ロシアも始めておりますけれども、北朝鮮の軍事侵攻近いということを一つ言っておきたい。韓国への軍事侵攻がもう近い。大統領代わり頃に一つ何かやりたいと思っているだろうと思います。我々もやっておりますしね。 で、横の連帯ができつつ、急速に連帯ができつつあります。中国がカモフラージュしつつやっておりますが、やっぱり世界同時危機を起こした方が有利と見ているのではないかなと思うので、中国はロシアでのドローン生産とかやめるとかいうようなことは言ってはいますけども、十分にもう持っていますのでね、それを知っておいた方がいいかなというふうに思っています。からロシアはこれ以上岸田強硬に制裁のことをやったら、やはり北方領とか北海道に向けての何らかの行動を起こす可能性が高いというふうに見ております。よく考えて、どういうふうにするつもりなのかまで、一応対応を考えてやられた方がいいと思います。向こうの方が動きは早いですから、決断も早いので、ごてごてになってしまう可能性があります。小説はちょっと近づいてくるので、いいことなのか悪いことなのかちょっと言えませんけどね。一応例えば北朝鮮が韓国と日本に宣戦布告したときに日本はできるんでしょうか。だからロシアはアメリカがあっちに出してこようとするのを防ぎたいから、アジア危機も欲しいでしょうね。当然欲しい。アジア危機が欲しいから、日本での危機、韓国危機、それから、台湾危機起こしたいし、今インドも争奪戦していますので、どっちの陣営に引っ込むかっていう、インド争奪戦しておりますが、自衛隊機がインドで給油できない、一旦着陸して、ウクライナに飛べないっていうことであれば、十分これを危険性はありますね。このような違いがあったのではないでしょうかね。だからこの連休からあと、ロシアも5月9日が対独戦勝記念になりますので、ドイツが今戦車をウクライナ支援より供与しようとしておりますので、これ本当に同時多発で戦争が起きる可能性が近づいてきていると思います。で、我々としてそういう場合、各所でも、経済的に戦争が起き始めたときに、どう受ければよいかということについても相談しているところですね。今、知床沖での26人乗せた骨の始末言われてますけども、あれだって事故かどうかはわからないですよ。だから、拡大したい時ですから、ああいうのが一斉に沈んで、さらにもう一隻なんか別の漁船かなんか沈んだり仕上げますと、おかしいっていうことになるんだよね。あんなのは本当に、水中からの、少ない人数での攻撃が可能な民間船ですからね。これからあちらのウラジオストク経由からと北方領土経由からと両側から攻めれる可能性もあるので、ちっちゃな事件がいっぱい起き始めたら危ないと見た方がいいと思いますよ。
船の捜索も、そろそろロシアの方が日本は調整お願いしないと。
それでもらえないんですよ。でもロシアは日本は敵国なんですから。でも、そういう関与しているのがロシアだったらどうするんだっていう。それ、どの一機で、船が沈められますよ。いきなり捨てられても意味が不明だと思うんですよ。わからないからね。どれに来てますから、近くにあるんで、基地は。
今の今日も読売新聞とか、なんか、書いている方の一人の中には、中国はこれでロシアの様子を見て台湾への侵攻を遅らせるだろう。
そんなことはありえないですね。むしろ好機ですよね。 いや、自分だけやった時には制裁を受けるのは分かったけど、みんなでやったらどうなるかっていうことですね。北朝鮮に気をづいているのを見れば分かりますよね。だから、今これどこまで連帯するか、まだ地続きでいきますからね。あとまだ、イランも飛びするし、インドは今ね、インド争奪戦やってるんですよ。インド巻き込んだらもう終わらなくなるので、インドがね、ロシアと戦わなきゃいけない理由がないんで、だから、ロシアと中国は、まあ、ある意味軍事同盟になった場合には、インドは今中国が減るということになる。特に相対する必要はなくなるんで、まあ、ここが兵隊基地、インドが兵隊基地になる可能性がある。で、ロシアからの天然ガスを8倍以上輸入するようになった。だから他のキャンセルしたのに、全部インドに行って、インドは安く大量に買えるようになるからね。それから食料の補給とか、武器弾薬の補給とかを、インド経由でできるようになるからね。いや、これは難しくなりますよ。バイデンさんの頭に合わせてやったものの、そんなに世界はシンプルではないし、日本が言ってる国際社会という定義は、そんな簡単なものではないと思いますね。国際法違反といっても、英米法違反ということですから、ほとんど。他の国が考えている国際法は違いますからね。私は、いろんなところで危機が来るんではないかと思うので、日本政府が機能しなくなる時期がもうすぐかなと。コロナだけでなく、経済状態もやっぱり十分危険で、次サイバーアタックに対応できないだろうと思います。サイバーアタックはもう北朝鮮、ロシア、中国、3つからありますので、もう調整できなくなってくる。この経営システムを破壊できるかどうか、何度かも侵入されてやっているので、できるという判断が下りていますので、これからは厳しい時代になりますね。
もう過去のことになっちゃうかもしれないですけど、宇宙から見られて、ロシアによるそのウクライナへの、今の言葉で言うと侵攻ですかね。それはどうやるんですか？
西側の方は民主主義の価値観を守るということ、普遍的な価値を守るということ、民主主義でないところと戦うということをしてるけど、民主主義、アメリカが考える民主主義と違う国という国がいくつかあります。それを共有しないということであれば、そういう権威主義的な国はやっぱり、準備に入るでしょうね。アメリカが後ろ盾になって攻撃してくること。北朝鮮に関してはもはや、今の韓国新政権、今のあたりは先制攻撃もあり得ると言ってるから、それとじゃ過去の先制攻撃もあり得ると言ってるし、今、ロシアの方もいきなりみんな知らないような新兵器を使うこともあり得ると。資源国に対するそういう落としを使って、これはそれは国連なんてもう権威を認めていないので、核兵器の先発のもとにはですね、世界の半分を抑えているともう一緒ですので、アメリカが使えるかとロシアが使える。ロシアは使えるんですよ。もうやれる。アメリカが使えるかどうかといった議論がいっぱいこれからいるんですよね。だいぶやられてからないと使えないから。
バイデンさんのそのリーダー力がどのく
そ
らいか
う。例えば、ロシアがウクライナに核兵器使ったとして、じゃあアメリカは、じゃあロシア本土を核攻撃できるかっていう議論になったら難しいでしょう。直接対決に次になるからね。でしょ？そういうことになるし、ポーランドから核兵器撃ったら、ポーランドだったらね、確実にされる。ということになるから、他の国を使ってやるのって結構あるから、今のプーチンの強気から見たら、私は、それは、ウクライナは当然、あと、象徴的なところ、やるかもしれないけど、支援している国、やっぱり、ポーランド、ルーマニアからイギリス、フランス、この辺りに発射する可能性は十分にあるとそれから、バルト三国の、嵐動きを示している フィンランド、スウェーデンともあり得ると思う。
ロシア的にはその対アメリカを考えたときに、本当にもうアメリカとの戦争になるのであれば、北海道の周りの海のところも
や取るべきでしょうね。
必要
対アメリカ、本当に戦うのは米軍基地と戦わなきゃいけないんで、それは北海道戦略って本当に現実になってきています。本当に現実になってきています。
今の政治家の方
沖縄しか考えてないだろうから、今、もう自衛隊のかつては北日本に集まってる今はもうずっと尖閣と沖縄しか考えてないので、台湾防衛とか言ってるけど、台湾防衛ができないような状況。それは中国と本来でそれを約束ができればやれますので、彼らは演習といって本当に本番に入りますけど、アメリカ軍とかは演習といって本当に演習のままで終わってますけど、やられますね。それから、また戦線がもっと広がりそうで、そのままちょっとソロモンと中国とが軍事同盟を結んだんで、あるいはオーストラリアと、インドネシア、グアム、ハワイ、フィリピン、この辺りがターゲットですね。ソロモンに米軍基地、あるいは中国基地ができたら、これはオーストラリアを狙われる形になりますね。これを何回しなきゃいけない。同時多発に対応できるかどうかということですね。口だけでその理想な語りも結構だけど、現実に対応できるかどうか。これはバラバラにいろんなものが起きたときに、これ個別にどこまで対応するかについては難しい。
大多数の人が中国が何か動き始めるんじゃないかっていう方に関心が多かったのかなとは思うんですけど、ロシアから始まるっていうのは予想はされることではあった。
バイデン氏は仕込んでたことは仕込んでいましたからね。そしてゼレンスキーっていう役者が入りましたからね。あちらはウクライナ1000年の歴史って言っているわけですから、大変ですわね。ウクライナからロシアが始まったぐらい言いかねない、感じですから。いや、だからゼレンスキーが防衛を考えたわけじゃないですよ。ロシアは戦略も考えてるんですから。
そこまでは思ってないですね。
キエフ大聖堂、これはロシア正教の中心なんでしょうか。ここを本山として、ロシア正教とは消えせるっていう裏まで考えていることだから、全世界の兵器を集めようとしてるんですからね。それはね、ロシア黙って見てられないですよ。兵器が集まってくるのを黙って見てるものはあんま怖ない。何かの警告をやったらしなきゃいけないですよね。これちょっと、さあ、あなた方、言い切れるから、私の考えはもう、前半、もう5月、6月以内には始まる感じです。これが連鎖していく可能性があるので、どこまで、ゼレンスキー人がどこまで連鎖の、ネズミ花火みたいになっていくかがわからない。でマスコミがあんまりワンパターンすぎるので、もうちょっと意見が割れてれば良いんですけども、これも勝手にもイケイケゴーゴーになっていますので。
今回に限ってすごいスムーズにやってます。早いですね、行動。
ちょっとね、国防学が言ってるバイデンの信用が低いっていうことを分かってないんですね。トランプ以上の指導力だと思って言われた。
今回の失言とも、うちも皆さん反対の言論を、反対というか、普通のマスコミや世間の人が言うこととは違う視点から言っているので。
弱いですよ。でも弱いですよ。今回でも産経からですね、朝日新聞、東京新聞まで言論一致してるんですよ。みんなウクライナかわいそう、ロシアが悪い、侵攻がこんな時に戦争するなみたいな、全部それで集まってるから、航空の科学だけの言論が反対って言っても、これはもう無視しないあれですから、無視でしょうね。普通は右寄りと左寄り分かれるんですけど、分かれてないんですよ。だから、国が挙げたことになりやすい、やりやすい、とてもやりやすいですね。どこまでだから、 我々どこまで介入してほしいですか。でも、現実的には少しを見ると、ちょっと介入は難しくなる。
これそのまま流していいかわからないんですけど、ヤイドロンさんたちも多分何かトンガの噴火に続いて何かやろうとはしていることはあったようには思うんですけど、それはどうでしょうか。
やつは、正義で立たないので、なかなか、正義でなかなか立たないので、
だからあれですよね、欧米側も完全に善じゃない。
完全に善じゃないですし、だって、片方の部分聞かないから、全く聞かないで、一方的承諾と言い続けているから。
だから本当に国際政治局のね、ここで訳して、トランプさんの陣営の人たちの本が出てますけど、確かにこの民主党の人たちはかなり押し付けてくると、自分たちの善だと信じると。
アメリカの敗北が再びあるんですからね、イラク戦争、湾岸戦争、両西洋戦争したかったけど、だんだんに逆になっていってるね。だから湾岸戦争も完全な勝利、イラク戦争も完全な勝利だったはずなのに、だんだんアメリカギルティになって、国としてたんが引っ込んでいってたところがまた元気をつける、景気づけるやっていうような感じに見えますね。軍事産業も確かに、これもしくは、戦争で大勝利してみれば、景気が回復すると思ってる動きはそれはあります。世界戦争になれば。ただ、その当事国でない場合に儲かりますけど、当事国になった場合は、儲かるかどうかは分からないね。2ヶ月以内に戦争の可能性は考えてがありました。
一応その危機感。
二国間、ロシアとウクライナ2国間戦争で終わらなくなる。だからウクライナのウクライナに国外脱出している国を国としてそれを主権を周りが維持してやるためにみんな戦争してくれるのかいっていうことですよね。ゼレンスキーをスタンシする罪はそれはマスコミにあるでしょう。多分。これが愚かさのところであるんで読めなかったし、政治学者もそういうところあるので読めなかったところがあるから。
やっぱロシアのプーチン像と中国の習近平像の何が違うかまでも細やかに見る目はやっぱり先生以外は持ってなかった。
ロシアだって1億8000万、9000万ぐらい人口あるんで、8割がプーチン支持してるんですから。ゼレンスキー 25% 支持率なかったのは、戦争する始めたら 91% になった。それほど、なんていうか、政権がごまかすの手られてますからね。そしてバイデンの野望にってちゃんと引きずり込んできてますのでね。多分成果はないと思いますので、ドローンを任していく、長期化していきますから。
ただ、皆さん、うちの人たちの言論でも戦って、頑張って。
だから結論がね、ロシアを裏切って、ウクライナの支配されるぐらいの結論が本当によろしいんですかどうかって。ロシアを殺す以外に今、ロシアを攻撃しよう、取り囲んでる国たち満足することは多分ないですよ。
ただアメリカの国防長官が言ってる発言とかを見ると、アメリカからすると確かにロシアも民主化して違う弱体化させたいとは言ってるから。
弱体化して、国防長官がウクライナに入ったんでしょ。これはもう宣戦布告近いですから。
そこまで本当にアメリカがやるつもりなんだったら世界大戦になりますね。
プーチンを孤立化させて、中から排除させようとしてるんだと思うんですけどね。それでこうなるだろうと思って、アメリカと EU を、こうなると思う。ロシアがね、こうならない場合、ずっとプーチン強気ですから、だから核兵器を使って勝てない場合は仕方ないけど、勝てる場合もあるからね。だから西側の考え方が間違っているのは、だから武器を供与すれば、ウクライナの方が勝てる可能性があって言っているわけで、だからウクライナからロシア軍を追い出せば、それで勝ちだと思ってるんだろ。それはロシアが核戦争に入らなければ話だからね。さあ、他の国からいっぱい武器を送ってもらえるなら、他の国をターゲットになるね。だから、首都の中に目標として打ち込む。 象徴的に打ち込んだらどうなるかってことになるわね。我々の動きは極めて難しい動き方が来るからなります。
まあでも、確かにトランプさんだったらこうなってない
可能性高い。
可能性高いですよね。そのプーチンさんの思考回路が理解できる。
だって天才だって認めてるのお互いが。プーチン20年の政治書は認めてるんですよ。だから、それは大国を出して当然だろうねと思っているわけで、ウクライナみたいな弱小国が何が良かったやっぱり彼は思うでしょうから。ウクライナは経済的にも危機で救ってほしくて EU に入ろうとしてるけど、ロシアにとってはそれは国防危機にもつながることなので、これ以上 EU 拡大されては困るってこれは当然だと思います。それ放置すれば必ずやられますから、最後はそう攻め込まれて、囲まれて攻め込まれますので、もう一つはこの日米同盟で今度東から攻め込まれて、インドまでアメリカに願えられて、もう三方から攻められたら、それは国がなくなるシナリオだよね。これ何としても避けたよね。
まあ、中国の方はまだロシアほどね、核兵器とか持ってないですよね。
これから増やそうとしてるこれから10年ぐらいでナンバーゾーンにしようとしてる。
今のアメリカが中国と戦おうとしたら、アメリカの方が勝つ可能性の方が大きいけれども、ロシアと戦おうとすると、かなりの。
まだ核兵器300本なんですけど、フランスくらいなんで、これは本当に防衛のため、もし撃ち込まれたら撃ち返すとっていう防衛のためですよね。北朝鮮の圧の方が怖いですよね。暴発するから、本当可能性あるから。いや、あれは自己権力に満ちてますから、やる可能性はありますね。そしたらどうするかですよね。北朝鮮との戦わなければいけない。ロシアの極東との戦わなきゃいけない。インドともちょっと微妙なバイデンさん微妙な感じになっていますから。インドはね、安全主義じゃないんですよ。インドはアメリカ的な主義じゃないので、全然。まだ、カス残ってますので、ちょっとね、岸田さんの後の周りの声が聞いてき始めつつありますね。危ないっすね。あそこが分かってない話が国会抜きにして話してくるから。
ちょっと軽いですね、やっぱりね。
助けられるかな。どこまでやってほしいですか。だから、世界 3カ所以上のところで紛争が同時に多発したときに、ある程度地球人ね、同時にやらせなきゃいけない面もあるので、どうも、だからプーチンを強靭にしようとみんなしてるんでしょ。だからこれ、大変に頭が吸い込まれたら、みんな洗脳されてますから。
ただ、地上部隊としてできることは、いくら批判されても、この世界大戦に突っ込まないように最後まで言うしかないですよね。
国連事務総長来ても、ロシアは兵が引きない、全然ないから、製鉄にこもってる人たちを逃してやれと言われて、大話は聞いてるんでしょ。プーチンから降参しに8を入ってるんでしょ。そうですね。だって貫通弾でこうするとは見越しできるのに、時間やってるのに降参してこないっていうのは、それは知りたいってことなんだね。そういうの言えばね、やっぱり。でも、これからちょっとウクライナ以外のところの戦争が広がる可能性は極めて高いと思います。さあ、一応これを警告しておきますよ。ただ、本当5月、6月、山場が来ますよ。米国からが、相談するかもしれませんけども、ちょっとね、マスコミに出品見たら、これ、多勢不在なので、国防科学になってる場合によっては、ロシアの戦兵っていうか、秘密組織みたいに思われるかもしれませんからね。いや、ゼレンスキーは書いてあるようにね、ゼレンスキーが言うてないっていうのは、相当だと思いますよ。ある程度考えてるし。アメリカに力があるから、なんとかして他の他国を力を使って、自分たちの体以外の金を使って、ロシアを弱めたいって気持ちがあるから、これもちょっと、覇権国家になろうとするやつを、中規模国家に戻そうとしてるんですよね、今ね。ただ、それを戻すには、アメリカ自身よりも、ロシアの核兵器が多いんですよ、今。 アメリカのはオバマさんと減らしてしまったから、核兵器を。
バイデンさんとか理想論を語ってくれるのはいいけど、現実もちょっとちゃんと見てから言ってるって話です。
だから、ロシアは核兵器、7000から8000万持ってます、まだ。だから、オバマさんの時代に、アメリカの核兵器多分ね、予想より減ってるのに、3000本台ぐしかないと思うんですよ、きっと。だから、結構これから作るっていうのは大変でしょうね。どっから行くかですけど、ウクライナ状態に、例えば韓国がなる可能性が、高いと思うし、同時に北海道侵攻もあり得るし、あと、他の係争地域あるいはアフガンとかももう、アメリカから離れてますしね、シリアとか、トルコとかも親ロシア派ですので、産油国あたりでも、攻撃というのはあり得ます。だから、抑えに入ってくるっていうのはあると思うんで、いやー、こういう北欧と世界戦争するのは、1年ぐらいには終わりはしないぐらいまで破壊力がもっと続くと思いますので、ロシアは国力大きいですから、だからやっぱロシアとも取り戻したいっていう姿勢とは、かなり手回しましたからね。一番手伝ったのがルーマニアですかね。ルーマニアじゃないわ、ポーランドかな。ポーランドが一番手伝ったかな。ポーランドあたりが、攻められる。まずは可能性が高いですね。アメリカ諸国は別にアメリカの味方ではないんですよ。ロシアでも構わない。それからイギリスにも攻撃される可能性はあると思います。EU との分離もあるしね。NATO はいらないってプーチンの持論だから、ロシアは条約軍に対抗するんで、それがなくなったのは拡大しようとしているところが許せないことで、それはそちらの相手では、その意味はわかります。
この状況になってきて、プーチンさんも最初にウクライナ攻め始めた時よりもさらにまた追い込まれてもいるとは思うんですけど、なんか悪い方の勢力がついてるとか今の時点であります。
いやー、それはもう両方からそれは悪魔の入り付きは両方にあると思いますね。どっちにでも入れると思います。どっちからでも滅ぼせる。
ただロシアはロシアで最初から一貫した論理で動いている。
そうです。一応国名ですから。なんかプーチンさんみたいな人だったら、例えば韓国の竹島支援と許さないわけですからね。
自分の領土でされたら
当然ですよ。プーチンさんから北方領土を取り戻すのはそうなんですよ。
その場合はなんで自分の領土の時には時間ですとしか言えないのに他の国の領土の時にこんなにはっきり態度を示してしまう。
だからやってるならいいと思うことなんでしょうけどね。でもちょっとマスコミと元にある学者たちの意見がちょっと甘すぎる意見を持ってますね。
人権の思想だけでやってるところはあるのかもしれないですけどね。
まださっきの冷戦構造と第二次大戦の終結の問題は引きずってますね。だからスターリンがソ連軍でベルリンまで落としたのに取り分がね、それだけの2000万人の人命を落としてヒトラーを潰したんですよ。取り分はほとんどなくて自分が失っていってアメリカだけが世界をシェアしようとしてるっていうのはこれはちょっとずるこしているように見えてるわけですよ。戦後の時のヨルタ会談とでも日本の東半分かされていても北海道ぐらいはやってもいいっていう参戦してくれたらソ連がやってもいいっていうぐらい間が空いてたはずなんですよ。それがアメリカ核兵器としてあっという間に枯発してしまってドタバタで全部取っちゃったっていうのっていうような 感じに思ってるからね。これはもう日本人の方ではわからないことです。できたのはシベリア連邦ぐらいで、北方、中国にいた人を、連れていくぐらいしかできてないからね。いやー、これもう一回蒸し返したな。どうしようかな。近いです。連休ではよくできないかもよ。よく見てないと。
小説を勉強する。
まさしくそっくりになってくるか。
いや、あれもあれですからね。日本人もちょっと反省すべきところあるから。
でも今、主の心を聞かないでしょ。お心聞かないから、聞くのは、だから、2002% 取れないでしょ。取れないんだから。今 98% 反対なんだろうから、それはどういうことだったら日本沈没船が日本壊滅シナリオだって、もう成り立つということですね。聞かないし、例えば秋田みたいなどこでも、なんていう迎撃システムを、実際初は僕もとして反対運動で出ておかなかったぐらいでしょ。こういう国がなくなっても仕方がないですよ。
だって権利を放棄しちゃった。
そんなもの気がないんだから。世界が永遠にも広島、長崎のコールを聞いてくれてると思っている。もう平和な国があれば私はやらないと思ってる。っていう言葉なんでね。ただ流れがそうだよ。やっぱ核兵器ってのはそんなもんではないんで、コロナ以上の結果になる可能性があります。本当に人口減塩、本当に起きる可能性があります。だから、アメリカ、米ドを持ってる核兵器使えば、地球何回も破壊できるぐらいまで持ってるので、私たちはどこで入るかな、もう今までこういうペースでできるかどうかがもう分からなくなってきたんで。で、そのもうちょっとのところまで中国が軍事同盟を結んだり、もう戦略的ですよね。これは、オーカスに対抗して、オーストラリア封じ込めに入ってるし、インドネシアに現に狙ってるのは確実ですので、ミャンマーもやってるでしょ。ミャンマーもやってるし、アフガンにも入っているだろうから、いやー、これは、ほんのバイデンのバイデンとかの頭一つで言ってしまうと、何時かわからないけど、世界大戦もう入るよ。
結果、それ相手間違えてる。
強いアメリカを一生懸命コールしたかったんだろうけどね。見切らなければいけないものがあるんですよ。
向こうに必要もありますね。
そう。ただ、ロシアの 80% の民のそのものは民主主義でないと洗脳されてるだけだと、こう言ってた。自分らが洗脳されてないのかっていうことで、イーロン・マスクとかがツイッター社を買収したりしているように、もうちょっと理解した俺で理解してないですから。絶対理解してないので、現代にはもうちょっと自由がなければ、課題をしようって言ってるでしょ。相性が分かってるんだろうけど、それ分からないんだから。でも当選に入っているのとこも、当選に入っているので。
だから欧米も同じってことですよね。
欧米も金儲けのためだけに動いていって、戦争のために実はやってるわけじゃないっていうことですね。
しかもその言論も、自分たちと違うものがあれば、やっぱ統制しようとする動きはあるんですね。
これはちょっと今のところ55% 以上の確率で世界大戦になる可能性があります。止められるか、どこで止めるかということは常に考えないといけないと思います。
でもこうなるとやっぱり核使ってやりまくろうとするんだったら地球の浄化作用がやっぱ働く気がするから、やっぱり小説であるようなことも起こり得る感じはあります。
自衛隊機でね、物資輸送ポーランドにしてやった方がいいとか言ってるんだろうけど、自衛隊機がポーランドまで入ってたら、それは一応攻撃の対象になるからね、もう、それを向こうとして何かする可能性はありますから、これについての判断は全くないっていうのは。
見ててそれやった後のどういう反応が返ってくるかまでは考えてないんですよ。
基本がね、岸田の基本があると思うんですよ。未来の様子をそのままやってる。 聞く耳がやりすぎて言う言葉がないから。バイデンが、来るんだけど、日韓に来るんだけど、韓国はもう本当に腰抜けだと思いますよ。本当に北朝鮮戦できたら、腰抜けだと、あっという間にやろうと思いますよ。戦いは。本当に腰抜けだと思います。
次の大統領になる方は新しくなりますか？
全然軍事的なあれはないですから、もう国内だけ問題、国内問題だけ、犯罪だけ騒ごうとする、傾向ですね、と思ってると思いますので。
仮にムン・ジェインさんだったとしても。
ダメです。ムン・ジェインがもう、長く分けたするんですけど、あれはもう賄賂を渡して許してくれてるでしょ。こちらは今度は日米の言ってこようとしてるけど、本心は国を守りたいだけだからね。日本とはそんな両国の関係を傷つけない、こともあるし、アメリカも安倍さんが戦略的無視って言ってたときに、やっぱり、日本が戦略的無視って言ってたとき、安倍さんが言ってたときに、アメリカも、韓国も無視って言って、相手にならないって話として言ってたぐらいですからね、そんなに簡単ではないですよ。今結論が出るのは言いませんけども、一応、世界大戦の始まる可能性がちょっと近づいてきていると、この2ヶ月以内にその単調として、要するに、もう、プーチンを切れさせたら撃つぞと、それが次どういう時に比するかは分からないぞということを、あまり、変化をしすぎてはいけないよということは知った方がいい。だから、海南捜査でさ、ロシアも協力してくれないでしょうから。今やってること戦争行為っていうか、利敵行為だということは理解できないでしょ。国際正義だと思ってるから。
アメリカとロシアの関係とまた日本とロシアの関係も違うわけですから、ね。
そうそう。
これ全部完全一致でやりすぎたらそれはね。
いや、日本は裏ないロシアも大事ですよ。だって極東までロシアはあるんですから、それは大事ですよ。ここで戦争しないことはすごい大事なことですから。だから、ロシアと中国、両方と戦うなっていうのは、豪華両方の理論ですから、国際政治、両国と戦ってはならないということで、中国の方が悪質高いので、ロシアと仲良くしようと、そのために多少の犠牲がやむを得ないという、やったらそれが全部裏切ってしまって、ではもう統一しはなくなろうと、してますので、岸田に反省の心は全くありませんから。完全に正しいと思っていますので、マスコミのレベルもそのレベルではあるので、かといってロシアのマスコミほど世論を統一するだけの力はないんでしょうね。狂気、発狂とだけ思っているから、うちにご乱心と。
言論で言って伝わらないから、ね、できることがないんですよね。
2% 以上にまで発見しないでしょ、今回の言論が。
だからその日本が被害を受けてしょうがないところは。
私は出動するときにしますが、混戦データだった場合はもう動けないですよね。だから人口が本当に減るのを、もう腕組んで見てるだけになるかもしれませんから。あなた方の小説だってもうあなたの取り組みの社会にもう一回帰ってくるところに行ってますから、もう最終まで行ってますからね。コロナの次に来るもの、これは、もし光線をかけば、やっぱり様々な困難が降りかかったというふうに見えるかもしれませんね。
確かにでも、時代が少し後になって人類がまだいたら、その時、どうすればよかったかっていうのが、その時の方が見えるのかもしれませんけど。
バイデンはそれをね、みんなで尊重してる分によかったかもしれないけれども、世界80億の大物をかけるにはちょっと足りなかった。ゼレンスキーも同じですけどね。他の世界主要国もそれを見破るだけの力はいったかもね。出ましたね。だから、これで破れたらマスコミ民主の権利が片落ちなんですよ。本当にそうです。基本的にこれでみんな、ある意味で民主主義を掲げたら、御用マスコミになっちゃったって。片方のはロシアを守ったみたいな、でもそっちが偏っちゃった。マスコミ自体は戦いでもありますからね。これでも、 発展途上国にいっぱい飛び火しますよ。いろんなところでクーデターとか、今も起き始めますから。アメリカ一国だためで、オバマからも発策に入ってくるんですからね。アメリカに介入された国はもう本当にボロボロされちゃうんですよ、最近。
またね、日本も、アメリカもそうだろうけど、どんどんウクライナにお金提供しているから、その付けをどこでどう回すかっていうので、経済的にだね。
ウクライナにわざわざ行ってね、外務大臣が行ってね、20年ぐらいそうやって返す必要ないんですよ、本当に。ちょっと優しいのは結構だけど、ちょっと共産主義は本当はそのもんじゃないよっていうの。共産主義っていうのはテロリズムの応酬なんで、ちょっと違いますよっていうことね。左翼っていうものは今、改造されようとしている。左翼の本質がね、改造されようとしているので、逆のかつての中国やロシアは、左翼の総本山だったんでしょうけども、今、あっちが多くに見えてきている方なんで、そして人権主義を言っている、民主主義を言っているバイデンの方が最後の方に見えてきて、みんなでソドムとゴモラへの民主主義って言ってるように見えますね。今、遅くなるから、とりあえず今日は、危機が近づいているということで、まず一言申し上げておこう。
じゃあ、これを聞かせていただいた方は、それなりの心づもりを持って、
あんまり能天気に遊んでるんじゃないよっていうことですね。
わかりました。
はい。
Thank you very much. Not so long, but you need time to contemplate on. I will give you the 10 minutes to 10 past 4. Okay. You can go to toilet or have a water or tea and then come back here by 10 past 4. Okay. I will explain what he's intended. Okay. What is his intention? The Yaidron and the Masari wo Okawa. Sometimes that's scared, but not real. Alright. Or just contemplate on those words. What? Yeah. And I will give you.
Thank you.
Yeah, handout. Now you can read it through or check it.
Has it got what was said just now in it?
Yeah.
Has this got what was said just now in it?
It's going through it now. Yeah, it's going to go through it. It's like.
Go through it, yeah. Please. And then try to remember what he says. It's not like in order. That's why you need to remember and make order. I already made the order
Okay.
here. Each point.
It's a lot to take in.
What?
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, lot of points. I will summarize later.
Yeah.
What's the meta something? Is that the Facebook?
Yes, sir?
The Facebook meta something. What's meta? What's that? I can't see all the word for it.
Metatron.
Is that the Facebook? What?
No. Metatron is also space being
Oh, okay.
and Archangel.
Okay.
You know, and if you read Old Testament, Metatron appear.
Okay.
Okay.
Like meteor sort of thing, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not Facebook, Meta. Okay. Angus, what do you learn from the spiritual messages?
I was interested in his comments. His comments are very lucid and real, you know, like you can relate to what he's saying. But I wondered if it was some sort of like he said, South Korea is a coward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that.
Anyway, yeah, that is a reality we have to face up.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because like mass media, through mass media, we cannot see anything.
Okay.
Unless you're living it physically.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean? And since, you know, it's hard to say because you're not in South Korea itself, and so you don't see what goes on literally every day.
Well, they're corrupt or something like that.
Politically. So you wouldn't know if their government is
Oh,
corrupt.
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Do you see what I mean? So you wouldn't know if their government's cowardly and corrupt and would take a bribe just to quieten, just to make peace.
Okay.
So from that
That's what we're
point
talking
of
about.
view.
Yeah.
Still, 3 minutes we have.
That's a lot. That was like so much to take in.
Please wait for a while. 10 past 4, we will start the explanation of what Yaidron said.
Yeah, they've got lots to do with the media, haven't they, in South Korea? Yeah. So that's just a picture painted by the media.
Yeah, painted by media and sometimes fabricated by media.
Okay.
Okay. So and then we don't know.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
That is the basic idea we should have.
Okay.
And then through mass media try to lead people to certain direction.
Yeah, through brainwash.
Since we will have a prayer service, that is a Hermes celebration ceremony. So, yeah, even if you join apply the key and bar, please pray together. That is a very important point. How we can promote these ideas and also how we can tell the reality to the people. So that is a missionary work. So this is great opportunity to dedicate our missionary work. The will to do missionary work to the heaven. And great Hermes is one of the great figures who can encourage us to the great work. Okay, time has come. Okay, let me start the explanation about what he said. I raised up already the 6 points of these spiritual messages. One is reason why Yaidron came to the Master Okawa on 28th April. So he raised up some points about it. The first one that should be page number 3 of this handout, okay? And then I think I raised up 6 points why he came here, right? And one is North Korea. North Korea is close to military invasion. North Korea's military invasion of South Korea is imminent. Okay, that is he want to tell people, right? Because like already new president was elected by people, and then his inauguration will be held 9th of May, means tomorrow. Right. And then since he's a new president is new, so Mr. Yi, but then at that time there should be the space to invade for North Korea. That's why the North Korea recently, as you know, he means Kim Jong-un already launched many missiles in 1 month, at least in 1 month. How many missiles already he launched, you know?
About 3 or 4.
4. 4 missiles. And then among the Trump administration, he has never done it. All right? And then, but among the new administration, Biden's administration, how many missiles he launched? Do you know? Already 19 missiles.
19.
Yeah, for 1.5 years.
Is that testing?
Test, but there's a test.
Yeah.
Actually, threatened South Korea or something like that. And then that is the first point, right? And then now horizontal solidarity is being formed rapidly. What is a horizontal solidarity? That against NATO and America. China is trying to camouflage itself, but I think China is thinking that it would be more advantageous to cause the simultaneous global crisis. Yes, behind the scene, China is a kind of the leader of anti-America or NATO countries, including this country. Okay,
Yeah.
so Xi Jinping tried to form and then start new direction. So
Well,
and
don't
then,
you think that like countries like China, they're very traditional old countries, you know? People, they have got some people who are affiliated to them. It's not just America. I don't like America.
okay, but anyway, I'm talking about the Chinese government, Xi Jinping, not the
Yeah.
people.
Okay.
Okay,
People.
so the people are very tender and kind, but Chinese government is a communist party. That's what you need to remember. Okay, that's why Xi Jinping tried to govern world. Then a dictatorship, that's happened.
Okay.
No freedom in China. Okay, we need a release them. But anyway, third point. Japan, Mr. Kishida imposed the further sanction on Russia. It is highly likely that Russia will take some kind of action toward the northern territories, Japan, okay, Hokkaido. And then, if something happens, if clearly Russia looks as enemy, Japan, then the Putin will start something to against that. So as I told you, the Putin Russia is already pushed into the corner Right. Then that is the third point. That's what he want to say. Okay, as prediction. Russia, the fourth point. Russia want to prevent the U.S. from trying to get into the Ukraine. So they want to have the Asian crisis too. Naturally, they want it. They want a crisis in Asia, crisis in Japan, crisis, Korean crisis, and the Taiwan crisis. They want to cause an Asian crisis. That's why Russia try to have an alliance with China. Because Russia has no friends in NATO countries and America or Japan. So that's why for Russia, that is the only choice to do to survive. Okay. Otherwise, they will be destroyed. Well, anyway, the fifth point, 9th May, will be the anniversary of the Russia's victory over Germany. And then Germany is now planning to provide tanks to support Ukraine. So I think the possibility of simultaneous war is getting closer. Yeah, Germany also be involved to the war, and the other European countries also be encouraged to be involved by Zelensky. Okay, so that is the point, fifth point, and then that's why the world war becomes very closer now. And sixth point, no one imagined that, but cyber attacks. This is 6 points. Cyber attacks are already coming from 3 sources: North Korea, Russia, and China. They already tested. But you know, sometimes the ATM machine or something has been stopped. Who did it? The mass media said, or government announced that someone, like anonymous, like that. But actually, the Pentagon, American troops already know who did it. That is North Korea, Russia, and China. Those countries did it. So it will no longer be possible to protect. Can they destroy Japan's or other countries, not only Japan, but other countries' financial system? They have already hacked it several times. And the judgment has been made that they can do it. Already they said they can do it. So these 6 points, he want to tell. Okay, so please remember that. That will happen. Then he will tell why and how to stop it. That is the second point. On China's invasion of Taiwan, very small portion, but we need to be careful about it. Otherwise, behind the scene, and if people look at only, guess that only the war between Russia and the Ukraine, they will do it. Okay, so Shio asked one question. One of the writers was predicting that China would now watch Russia and delay their invasion of Taiwan. But he said, that's impossible. Instead, it's more of an opportunity. Now China knows that when China did it on its own, it would be sanctioned. But what if they all did it together? So you can see it clearly when you see North Korea gaining the momentum. Right? Recently. That's why in 1 month, 4 missiles.
Yeah.
All right? And then behind the scene, China doing something in their country. Okay, so that's happened. So you don't need, we should see both what's happening in Ukraine and Russia, and also what China will do. Because if you read a newspaper that was reported the day before yesterday, China started action and then send many airplanes like F-2 or F-35 to around Taiwan and around Senkaku Island, the invaded territory. And of course, the military of Taiwan and Japan try to give them warnings, but they ignore that. Have you ever heard about it?
They've been doing that, but they've done it a few times, haven't they?
Yeah, not
China.
a few times. China, Taiwan, for example, like last month,
Yeah.
just 1 month,
Yeah.
more than 100 times
Okay.
they did it. Okay. So try to threaten the people in Taiwan
Okay.
and around the Senkaku Island, Japan.
What's the name of the islands?
Senkaku Island.
Okay.
Okay. So, okay. So, China can make it impossible for Japan to defend Taiwan if they make the promises behind the scenes with Russia, right? And then because they may do exercise, but they can really go into the real thing. Yeah, Russia already planned to do exercise very near area of Hokkaido, the northeast island of Japan, Hokkaido, and they planned already exercise, but it will become the reality. That's what he said. And then that's why, at the same time, if China try to invade Taiwan, what we can do, what Japanese government should do, at the same time, Japanese government cannot control it. So that will happen also. And then everything, Russia try to survive in this world. That because they have, Russia has enemies, NATO, America, something like that. Okay, many countries. So the Solomon Islands and China have formed a military alliance. You know Solomon Islands, which is located in the upper northern part, northern sea of Australia. Australia. Here is Australia, here is Solomon Island, like that. Very near to Solomon, Australia. And then Solomon Island already alliance with China. And then there is Philippines, Japan, Taiwan already. Okay, so that is kind of the Othello game. Who can have a corner. And then, so this makes Australia, Indonesia, Guam, Hawaii, and the Philippines their targets. Because Chinese government clearly said western part of the Pacific Ocean should be belong to China. The Chinese government clearly said their military statement. So that is happening. And then if a Chinese base is established in the Solomon Islands, Australia will also be targeted. Something must be done about this as well. This is a situation. Okay. So if Russia doing something, and then at the same time, if China doing those things, and then no one can guard, right? That is the strategy by China to conquer this world. Using Russian crisis.
Yeah.
All right. Then, third point. Yes, this is the main point. On Russia's invasion of Ukraine. If you see the mass media, always they say that Russia is bad, Russia is evil, or Ukraine is great and pitiful, something like that. But is it true, or what's happening behind the scenes? So, this is what Yaidron says. Biden has set it up. Actually, not only Biden, from the Obama administration, you know, they provide many weapons or money to Ukraine, and then among the Obama administration, they try to create a new administration in Ukraine which pro-Europe, pro-America. Before then, before Obama administration, there is a president in Ukraine who is pro-Russia, because more than 50% of the population is yes, they have ancestors from Russia. Yeah, that country, Ukraine, is such kind of country. But since America, Europe, and NATO gave the Ukraine some weapons and monies and suggestions, and actually CIA sneaked into the Ukraine and encourage the people to stand up. That is the real meaning of that was called
Infiltrations.
yeah, Orange Revolution, something like that. Coup
Yeah.
happened, right, at that time. And then the presidency changed without election. Okay, so coup happened in Ukraine.
Okay.
And then after that, okay, so Zelensky became president anyway, so by election. And then Zelensky came into play along because he's a puppet, okay?
Comedian.
Yeah, comedian. Yeah, I also used to be a comedian, but it's okay because I changed my mind.
Different kind of
I did. Yeah. Confess my sins
comedian.
already. So anyway,
Comedy.
yeah, Zelensky came into the play along, and the best hit TV program that is I Am a President, and he played along, and then chosen as a president.
Right.
Oh my goodness,
I know.
right? And then they are also talking about their 1,000-year Ukraine history. It's tough. They might even say that Russia started in Ukraine. Zelensky is not only thinking about the defense, he's also thinking about the occupation of Russia because he hates Russia.
Yeah.
And then also, that's why that is the same idea as NATO countries has. Basically, I love that those people who live in Europe, but history tells us that Russia and Europe, other countries, has always conflicts.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why the Warsaw Pact try to target the European countries, and the European countries to against that created NATO. Still, NATO seems Russia as the potential enemy. Okay, so that happened, and then their wishes how to destroy Russia. That is a main strategy of NATO and America, but not Republicans. Democratic Party think of that. But Republican thinks we need to combine our strengths with Russia. Very different. That's why when Trump administration, they don't have any conflicts between Russia. But now they have big conflicts. Another reason they means like American Democratic Party have a big conflict with Russia because, as you know, if you read the newest report from New York Times, okay, it says the mass media already admitted that there is a corruption between China and Biden's son. I forgot the name. Anyway, and then his son, Biden Jr., got the big money. I heard millions of dollars.
Well, it's supposed to be billions.
Yeah, billions.
Billions.
Yeah, money from Chinese company every year. So, and then that was revealed by American mass media. But since this happens, and then also Biden always screamed like that Russia is evil.
Yeah, to take the attention.
Yeah. And then yes, Biden tried to take their attention to Russia. Okay, that is happening now. So we need to be very careful because like almost all mass media in European countries and also American mass media support the Democratic Party. So that is a great chance for Biden to hide that dirty space in his room. Okay, so that's why the Zelensky is not only thinking that. They are trying to gather weapons from all over the country, right? This is happening now. Even Japan try to give something. So, and the world. Russia will not stand and watch idly. Russia is not so naive as to just sit back and watch the weapons being gathered. Surely some kind of warning must be given to this. Then, another thing is what the master said about it. He said that Ukraine is the same as Cuba for US. Okay. Do you remember what happened in the Cuban
Weapons.
crisis?
Yeah.
Soviet Union tried to bring the nuclear weapons to Cuba. And then Mr. Kennedy stand up to stop it.
Yeah.
Same happened in Russia because NATO last summer promised with Ukraine, we will bring nuclear weapon in your country, secretly. And then the February or March, that was almost realized. But Putin stood up. That's why they gave up. But still, he means Putin gave a good contract, agreeable. That is, please be neutral. And then don't try to get into the NATO and EU so that we can shake hands with each
Work
other.
together.
And especially eastern part. And another condition Putin gave the Ukraine Zelensky is the eastern part and southern part of Ukraine. That is a small part, but there are a lot of Russian people, more than 70% or 80%, and then, but there is not like the troops there. So don't try to oppress those people who live in Ukraine, Russian people. And then if you promise those 3 points, we can compromise. But at that time, that is the official record. Okay, if you read it, you can read it. And then Zelensky refused it, and then try to get into the NATO and the EU, as you know, but rejected, right? Because if it happened, the World War III will happen. So on there, we need to know the reality what's happening. Okay, and then already negotiated, but they don't stop the oppress the Russian people in southern part and the eastern part. That's why they asked the rescue to Putin, Russia, and then the Russia sent troops to Ukraine, so to protect their own people. So
Would you say that Russia's Zelensky's right wing?
not right wing, left wing, left,
Okay.
super left.
Okay.
Okay, so and then Russia is not so naive. Okay, so that some kind of the warning must be given to this. Well, this is the basic idea of what's happening in Ukraine and between Russia and Ukraine. So that's why if Trump is still the presidency, and it will not happen. They can negotiate. But Biden is not the person who can be negotiated. So now I wonder if you can get through this. I feel a war will begin in the first half of the year, or in May or June. It could become a chain of events. I don't know how far this will expand, like a firework that spins and emits spark set by a single person, Zelensky. Okay. So, but at the same time, Mr. Putin, President Putin, clearly declared that. So we want to be strong. We want to we want to take back our lost lands like that. Okay, so and then some people criticize that he want to invade Poland or Finland, something like that, but it's not. Okay, and then because all American presidents said America should be strong. Same as that. Just want to be strong to protect the country and to make their people prosperous. That is the reason he said like that. So, and then, but the Zelensky used that words very wisely, and he's a dictator, something like that. So it's not. And I don't know how far this will expand, like a firework that spins and emits sparks, set by a single person, Zelensky. He always shown up on the TV and saying how pitiful we are.
Yeah, like a celebrity.
Yeah. And then, this is a strategy. If you can become a victim, you can get to win.
Okay.
Okay, that's why all the war who joined the war, all countries try to pretend we are victim.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't. Maybe sometime in the near future I will talk about it. What's happening in the World War II behind the scene, but America did it behind the scene. So they created the story, fabricated story, Nanking massacre or something like that, and that is fabricated by America and China. Okay, so that will happen anyway. And this time the future, okay, there is no evidence massacred by Russian troops, but they said this is a massacre, a genocide. Okay, problems of the mass media. That is the first one. Mass media is following a single pattern to blindly, so it would be better if they were a little more divided in their opinions. Whenever mass media tell something one-sidedly, almost all of them like the story fabricated by mass media or someone. Okay, so that's why we need to be very careful. If you see a divided story and then this mass media tell that, but opposite side tell that, like that, we can compare. But if story becomes one-sidedly, mass media become a tycoon, dictator, they can become. So we need to be very careful. So they all have the same argument. They are united in their opinion. Ukraine is pitiful. Russia is bad. War should not be waged at a time like this. Even if only happy science is speaking against it, it will be easier for them to ignore it because still we are small portion. In Japan, a little bit more major, but in this country, very few, right? And they can ignore us. But even if so, some people, I talked about it on the road because I piled up the many books, this one. And some people very interested. And then, surprisingly, I think once a day, I encountered a person, and then I talked about what's happening in Ukraine or something like that. The person, almost all people don't agree, but one person a day, the person said, I agree with that. I don't trust any mass media. Reality is different always.
Yeah.
Like that. So, with words of mouth, we need to spread this truth. Okay, and you can use the Liberty website. That is based up what is happening, and what is the truth on the current war. And also, it will not end in the bilateral war between Russia and Ukraine. Are various countries willing to go to war in order to maintain the sovereignty of Ukraine, a country with over 5 million people fleeing the country. Okay, that is the same as former Soviet Union or China. Always many people think that fleeing from that country. Is that a good country? I don't think so. Okay, if that is a very good country, in Japan, for example, even among the World War II, very few people fleeing from Japan, and then almost all Japanese people try to stay to fight with America or something like that. That happened. But if we see now 5 million people fleeing the country, that clearly shows that country is not a good country. Okay, so that's what is asked. The mass media is probably to blame for making Zelensky too much of a star. Yeah, because he can become a very good puppet. So that's why mass media used him as a puppet. Okay.
Rather miserable puppet, though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
miserable puppet. Yeah, that's true. And also, and this puppet bad, very dangerous.
Okay.
Try to involve us to the World War III,
Yeah, exactly.
right? And they divided the world world.
Yeah, he's
Two
trying to
parts.
get as many countries as
Yeah,
possible.
So that happened.
So they could go.
Yeah. And then we need against such kind of situation. So then another problem of mass media is here. As for an 80% of the approval rating of the Putin, Biden said that is not democracy. They are just brainwashed, and the people should understand why Elon bad. At the same time, people should understand why Elon Musk, who is questioning whether they themselves are brainwashed or not, is trying to buy out Twitter. He clearly knows that.
Yeah.
If he can control all social media, he can conquer the world, and then try to control their means people's mind.
Speech.
Yes, and then so one-sided news only can be available in YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. So this is written in the novel that's titled 1986. 86. 1986.
Yeah, it's called
George
1986.
Orwell's 1986.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just called 1986.
Sorry, 1986. Okay.
What was 1984?
Yeah, that is a novel title.
Novel title.
Yeah, that means,
1984 it was.
yeah, big tycoon control the media
Okay.
and they brainwash people.
Okay. Yeah.
That is called the Big Brother.
Okay.
And then now Elon Musk try to be Big Brother.
Okay.
Oh, they're all the same, aren't they?
Yeah. And then the authority of mass media democracy will decline dramatically. And then because mass media, mass media. So
Yeah, it was the book 1984, not 86. That's the book. George Orwell's book.
George
Orwell,
1984.
1984.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And will decline dramatically if the democratic nations are defeated in this conflict. And then after some years later, people realize that we are cheated by government and the mass media. Then dramatically, the mass media democracy will be collapsed. Okay, so it looks as if he's claiming that democracy means that everyone acts like Sodom and Gomorrah. Why? Because like those social media try to encourage people be an animal. They affirm the natural instinct as animal, but don't obey the like moral, the traditional moral. So and then humankind will lose dignity, which is the power to believe in invisible things. So this is a problems mass media will happen, but someday in the near future, mass media democracy will decline dramatically. This is also prediction. Okay.
Yeah.
So after that, they realize that they are cheating, and it's shame we admit that Zelensky as a hero like that.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what they will say. Then fifth point, the possibility of using nuclear weapons that makes us very scared and fearful. But we need to look into this, face up to this crisis, and try to stop it definitely in the name of God. That is a very important point. What will happen if Russia is being pushed by, being surrounded by all Western countries and the Eastern European countries, Europe countries, okay? So what happened? Please imagine, Russia is here, and all countries says Russia should be destroyed, Russia should be abandoned, Russia should be ignored, and then as representative, and they give the many weapons, including the nuclear weapon, secretly to Ukraine. What do you think if you are president of Russia?
Well, of course, he's going to attack.
That's right. So that's happening now. Yeah, because these conflicts trapped by Obama administration, right? Obama administration planned it, and then fruit the current administration, Biden administration, get the fruits of it. Okay, so that becomes the fruits now, and then the UN is no longer recognized as an authority. They cannot control anything, and with 7,000 nuclear weapons, it is as if Russia holds half of the world. The question is whether US can use them or not, or whether Russia can use them or not. The Russian can use them. Okay, but the US needs to have a lot of discussions about whether it can use them or not. And then US cannot use it until the West have substantially attacked. All right. So if US shoot a nuke from Poland, Poland will be shot. Even if the US uses the other countries to do it, still it cannot avoid danger from Putin's current viciousness. I think Ukraine would be naturally shot if America try to use it. Okay, so he may also target some symbolic parts. There is a good chance that he will fire nukes on Poland, Romania, UK, including this country, France, and the other countries that are supporting Ukraine. There is another possibility that the Baltic countries that are showing the suspicious activity, Finland, Sweden, etc., can be the target. Then, so please think of that. So now, seems like same as Japan before World War II, surrounded by enemies, and then pushed into the corner by America. Same things happen, okay? And then, so for Russia, maybe someday, if this keep going, this situation keep going, then they have to guard themselves. And then if America or NATO, even the secretary, bring nuclear weapon into Ukraine, that will happen. That's why Master Okawa strongly encouraged the Western people, and Ukraine should be neutral, should stand up the very neutral position. And then that is same as Cuba. That's why they should not have a nuclear weapon. Otherwise, to protect Russia, because from the Moscow to Kiev,
The distance.
distance only 300 kilometers, just like from here to Scotland. Okay, so for them, if Ukraine decided to get into the NATO and have nuclear weapon, even the secretary, that will happen. Okay, so it doesn't mean that Putin is crazy. That's why they will launch the missile. He's very different from Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un. The Kim Jong-un will take that kind of action because he's crazy. Just enjoy. But maybe same as Xi Jinping. But the Putin is different because he's a very enthusiastic believer of Christianity. Okay, and he believes in the Lord. So that's why. Okay, this is a very realistic analyzation. Okay,
Putin
so
has more of a sense of responsibility.
Hmm?
Putin has more
sense of responsibility. Yeah, try to protect their people.
I think he understands what freedom means and what responsibility.
That's true.
I think he has a good understanding
Yeah, that's
in
true.
relation to others.
Yeah.
But as you said, he also has to protect his country or rather help his country.
Yeah, that's true. He's a strong leader, I admit that. But a strong leader doesn't mean like dictator. Okay, so that's what we need to know. Okay, then next one. This is the last part of this one.
I'm not quite.
What is wrong with the West thinking is this. Okay, what is wrong? West thinking is this. They are saying that Ukraine has a better chance of winning if they provide weapons to Ukraine, of course. And Ukraine can win if they remove Russian troops from Ukraine. But this is on the premise that Russia doesn't start a nuclear war, right? He said. If Ukraine can get other countries to send them a lot of weapons, then Russia can target other countries. So that's what now European countries and the US try to do. Give them the weapon. The more they give weapon, and then the more Russia have target those countries who provided the weapons. That's natural. Because that is same as attack Russia. So then, so what if Russia targets a capital city or shoots a missile at them? What happens if Russia does that symbolically? Please think of that. And then I think UK could be attacked too. Yeah, that's a very terrible prediction. Okay, so the Boris Johnson don't think very much. I don't think he thinks very profoundly.
Mind you, he did say he doesn't want to provide weapons. He wants that, but I believe he's only talking about sanctions. But he said categorically, from what I believe, the last time I watched social media news, that he didn't want to get involved in supplying Ukraine weapons.
I hope so. But things are like he visited Ukraine suddenly, and he said Zelensky is a strong, good leader. Something like that.
What does he know?
And then that stimulated Russia, right? So like that, and then through that action, Russia can recognize UK is the enemy. Okay, so that's what we concerning now. And then because of the separation from the EU, Putin's opinion is that NATO is unnecessary. Of course, there is no such thing as a Warsaw Pact now. Warsaw Pact organization already disappeared, right? And then why they have a NATO still? And then NATO constitution says that our potential enemy is Russia, Soviet Union, still remain. So, and it's nonsense. So that totally nonsense. That's why his opinion is NATO is unnecessary. It was established first the Warsaw Pact organization, and the fact that is trying to expand even though the WPO no longer exists. Warsaw pact organization no longer exists is unacceptable. This can be understood if you look at it from the Russians' perspective, right? I agree with that. Now we don't need a NATO. But if NATO try to change their idea and then try to eliminate the communism from China, I agree with that. Okay. So, and then, but the North Korea one is scary too. Yeah, I think I truly, he's crazy. No one can stop him. Yeah, like that. That's why. Yeah, that's why among the Donald Trump administration, he hasn't done anything because Trump seems like a kid or his son.
Yeah, and he put him in place.
And they praise him. You can do it like that. And then he thinks Trump is a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. Yes, he's a kid, a small kid. But if he is attacked by anyone, he's get angry easy.
Yeah.
Okay. And then launch a missile.
Retaliate.
Yeah, retaliate. There is a real possibility of the accidental firing. This is very one sentence, but be careful.
Yeah.
It's a prediction from Yaidron, okay? Outer space. There is a real possibility of accidental firing.
I actually see that happening more than nuclear weapons being launched between Russia and Ukraine. I see that happening more.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. If that happens, and then Kim Jong-un will think, oh, this is a great chance to launch the missile. Yeah. It's fun for me. Yeah. Okay, so this will happen. So last announcement of him, this part, the possibility of using nuclear weapons. An extremely high possibility exists that the population could be reduced drastically. Master predict that the year-end lecture in front of more than 20,000 people. He clearly said, reduce to half human population. If humankind cannot reflect and cannot accept what he says, the one thing he said is, we should take Russian government into Western countries. That's what he suggested at the time, but almost all people ignore that. So that is tragic, okay? And then America and Russia have enough nuclear weapons to destroy us multiple times, but North Korea one is scary too. There is a real possibility accidental fire.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay? So we need to remember this caution from Yaidron, the space being, and from Masaru Okawa. So the last part, we are going. Oh wow, 45 years, sorry. The possibility of the world war. Okay, please read it. Nothing short of the destroying Russia will probably satisfy the countries surrounding Russia that are trying to attack. Okay, so this is a conclusion. Nothing short of destroying Russia will probably satisfy the countries surrounding Russia that are trying to attack. And then, let's see the contents. They seem to believe that if they can get a major victory in the world war, it can restore the economy in the military industry. That's what many people in the military industry think. But it's possible if your country is not involved. If you are involved, I'm not sure if it's profitable. It's now highly likely that the war will start within 2 months. Okay, so, but unfortunately, now NATO countries and America and even Australia, Japan already involved in that. No one can get profitable through that action. Okay, so are you sure you want to conclude that Russia will be destroyed? Ukraine Ukraine will take over? No, right? And then this is being asked because the Russian population, the Russian economic power still strong.
Yeah.
And if we can welcome the Russia to be a fellow country, and then that will the power of the people. Okay, so this is being asked. Nothing short of destroying Russia will probably satisfy the countries surrounding the Russia that are trying to attack. Well, let me give you a warning. May or June, there will be a critical point. I may ask about what move we should make, but from the perspective of mass media democracy, we are already outnumbered. We means happy science. Outnumbered already. Okay. I think you are right about Zelensky not being a hero. He has bad thoughts. The US is greedy. This is a real perspective from outside. And then it wants to weaken Russia by somehow using other nations' powers, using money other than its own. Not only Biden. Biden is not so sort of okay. But from the Obama administration, Democratic Party and the CIA thinks of that. So they said, let's weaken the Russia by somehow using other nations' powers and using money other than its own. That's why Obama administration decided to give money and weapons to Ukraine. That is a strategy. Okay. Then he said both sides evil will be sneaked in. That there is a space the evil sneak in. Both sides. European, American countries, and Russia. Okay, both. But who has a good faith and a good leadership? We need to think of that. Well, if there is really going to be world war, I think the destructive power will continue more than a year since Russia is a large country. More than 1 year. Okay, so that is tragic. Of course, UK, the other European countries will be involved because they belong to the NATO.
Yeah.
Okay, they really want to get back what they have lost because they have given away so much. So again, that's quite like a long story, but very shortly, when they win the World War II, and also when they had an empire much larger than now, and then strong country. But if the strong country can provide a good democratic system and make them free, that is great. That's why even America occupied Hawaii, Guam, and those the islands, and then they think, many people think that is a good peace. But if the country is bad, that should be called bad deeds. Okay, so and then of course when the Soviet Union did bad things, we should oppose that. But nowadays, and then the Putin thinks protect the Russian country in other countries, and also they have they mean if they have the countries like Ukraine have bad mindset, oppress the people, and like America did to other countries. The stand up and try to stop it. That's what he said. The strong country, not desire to occupy the country. Okay, so that is the point we need to recognize. So last point. China's military alliance with the Solomon Islands suggests that China is moving strategically. China is trying to contain Australia to compete with AUKUS. You know AUKUS? Australia, UK, and the United States, America. So that is called AUKUS, the military alliance. So it is no doubt that China is targeting the Indonesia's oil fields as well. And against that, China has a military alliance with Solomon Islands, okay? And Myanmar is also, and which will expand Afghanistan too. A world war could occur slowly, depending on how Biden thinks. So this person, Biden, has a key. What we will face up to is very dangerous and unstable now. If Donald Trump has a key, we can feel relief. But Biden has a key.
Yeah.
Now, he's a key person now. Whether 8 billion people will be able to survive or not. Okay, and then through, though I don't know what number that world war will be, means the third world war already happened. That is coronavirus war. And then if hot war happened, that will be called fourth world war first. So, and then if things are left as they are now, a world war could occur with a probability of more than 50%. Yeah, that is a very detailed.
Yeah.
More than 50%.
55.
Yeah. 55% is more than 55%. Yes. Yeah. Yes, more than half.
Yeah.
And then, can you stop it? That is a question to us.
But isn't Biden supposed to croak at some point?
Yeah. And then Biden has
Like horror.
yeah.
But the question is, who follows?
It's not the only decision maker.
Exactly. Yeah, he's just the puppet. So the question is.
And
the puppet has dementia, and if you've got dementia, you might make even
Yeah, I know,
decisions
more
than average
mistakes.
persons.
current vice president
Yeah.
used
He's a
to
communist.
be joining Communist Party.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's a totally communist.
Yeah. So we don't want her.
Kamala Harris. Yes.
Yeah.
She's a totally communist.
Yeah.
So that's why more dangerous situation will happen.
Oh my God.
Who's the new one?
Can we
Who's
agree?
lesbian or something?
Huh?
Who's the new one who he just appointed?
Yeah, Biden and Kamala Harris.
Is that the one it is?
The mixed lady, the black lady.
Yeah.
She's communist.
Vice
Oh, okay.
vice president.
Okay.
Yeah, the vice president.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm.
Yeah.
At what
Right,
point
so she's-
should we stop it? We must always think about these questions. Okay. So, as much as we can, spread this truth through spreading this book, or this book, even this book, Kyotens, or invite them to come here, listen to the reality. We don't talk about mythology, okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes people think in the religion, we are talking about
I know.
mythology only, something like that, and a
Yeah.
beautiful story. Yeah, we sometimes do it, but we need to stop the disaster, okay,
Yeah.
by humankind. So that is also should be activity of religion.
Yeah.
Okay, so then sometimes she will mention about a novel written by Masaru Hokawa. That is titled "The Woman with the Cross," because if he published what the real thing that will happen, and then he will be accused, happy science accused by people, because almost all people believe that Zelensky is a good one, and also Biden is a good leader, something like that. And then Putin is a dictator, that is a Satan or devil. And then almost all people believe that. But if he can write down the novel, then they might think that is a fiction, but it's not fiction. Prediction from Masaru Hokawa. He published this book already in Japanese, but next month or next month means June or July, that will be published in English.
Yeah.
Because in this novel, the woman with the cross means the main character is a Christian.
Yeah, I was going to say that's going to be attractive to a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah. Christians.
Yeah.
And then talking about Jesus Christ,
Mm.
what he taught. And then easily Western people can accept
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
And then also the last scene of this novel is just as if apocalypse. Mm. So that's why I'd like to spread this novel also. Okay.
Yeah.
And then even in his books written by him, and then the reality, real crisis can be written like very foggy, like that. So that's why what he cannot write in his books written in this novel.
Yeah.
What is a real crisis? And then if people cannot accept the word from God,
Mhm.
what will happen? If the more than 50% people become materialist or atheist, what will happen? They predicted in this novel. So the novel written by Masaoka will be published in June, July. If you want to know the worst scenario and how to stop it, please read it. Okay. And then that is a warning and the real apocalypse by Lord God El Cantare. Okay, so that's why we need to spread like same as this book, The Laws of Messiah. If you want to join this spreading activity, the new novel, every month in Tokyo, we will have a prayer for world peace.
Yeah.
And then if you join that, even the small amount, okay. So then that can become the fee for purchasing that novel, okay. Please join. The newest movie will be shown in the autumn, Divine Protector, Master Sword Begins. And today I will show you that, but please wait. We need some a short break. And after that, we will have a discussion time regarding today's running. Okay. So please come back to here by,
Less time.
yeah, 20 past 5. Okay, 20. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you very much for joining us today. We will have a discussion through the Zoom. If you want to join, please come and say goodbye once. But see you soon. Bye bye now.